yourself.
Sure. Toby McManus, the Director of Business Development for Superior Packaging and Finishing. We're a trade finisher originally that morphed and reinvented ourselves into a trade printing, trade packaging house, along with automated mail service. A little bit different model than some of the other folks, but recently got into several thousand orders per day, and we're able to do that with the Siteflow product.
Very good. So rich history in finishing, bindery, and deep expertise in that area. Fantastic. Mike, tell us a bit about yourself, please, and Regal Press.
Yes, sir. Mike Seidman, VP of Operations for the Regal Press Incorporated. We're just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. We're in our 5th decade. We've reinvented ourselves in the last 5 years over many different spaces, and we've gone from producing 5 products to over 500 products by bringing the Indigos on board.
So how many orders a day are shipping?
We average about 3,000 orders a day. We've experimented with other solutions as far as management and workflow. And had partial results from some of them, but we believe that Siteflow may be the all-incorporating solution for us.
Yeah, so what's interesting, by the way, one thing to note about these 3 gentlemen is that Paul is fully implemented and bringing on new work. Toby is fully implemented and has a different level of experience, let's say. And Mike actually we're going on site Tuesday, right? But there's a little bit of a history there as well. And we'll get into it a little bit as we go in, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So different levels, different stages and so forth. And I thought it'd be good to have a good mix here instead of three different companies, let's say they're all doing the same thing. Okay, hope you agree. All right, number of jobs. Here's a recent study from whattheythink.com. Okay, it came out maybe a month ago, but it's all about 2016. So very relevant. It compares 2016 to 2015. And they looked at a number of things, but we pulled out 3 things all around, for example, all around the idea of job volumes, job orders increasing, run lengths decreasing, and what does that mean to the business, right? So whattheythink.com did a survey, okay, of 400 people responded, so very nice, statistically significant sample. The idea around revenues, okay, and there's a little bit of fine print, so forgive me, but the idea basically is how much did your business grow? And there's different segments, of course, in the pie chart, and the idea that between, let's say, 6 and 10%, 19% actually grew. So last year, the economy picked up, in general, at least these 400 that responded, 19% grew between 6 and 10%. And you can see the rest of the distribution there. But the net is basically overall that there was a good amount of growth in revenue, not bad. If we think about, for example, the number of jobs per order, the number of jobs per order grew significantly as well, okay? Actually, the average here is 34%. So compared to 2015 to 2016, 1/3 more number of actual jobs or orders to manage, okay? And I'm sure with the same staff, the same systems and so forth. Talked about automation up front. This gentleman over here mentioned automation, right? So this idea that, there's a tidal wave behind you and you need to get ahead of it, right? All right. And then profits, let's look at that. And so while revenues grew substantially, let's say 22%, if I'm reading it right, and jobs grew 34%, profit increased, which is good, but it increased less. And so the idea here is when you think about, your additional work, you have your fixed costs and a certain amount of work that needs to come in order to pay the bills, keep the lights on, pay the employees. And then there's incremental jobs, of course, past the break-even point every month. And the point here is that as revenues are growing, profits are not growing as fast. And the number of jobs is growing even faster than revenue. And so this is pretty much a recipe for disaster as we go forward. Increasing revenues is good, but man, if profits aren't going to back it up, and you need to hire more people to manage it because you're not automated, that can be a big challenge, okay? So let's think about PrintOS in general, by the way, and I want to tell you that I manage PrintOS for North America. I manage all of the SmartStream products for North America. I also manage all of the partners, workflow and finishing for North America. So my responsibility is basically everything before and after the press. And so if we think about PrintOS in particular though, we've got some great examples. It's not us saying how great it is as much because we want our customers to start talking about it. And we have some really great examples, a number of new videos and things on YouTube and so forth. I'm not going to spend that much time here, but just so you see, for example, Brian Benson, an innovator here, he's been a longtime user of PrintBeat, which everybody I think knows in their mobile phone and all that. But actually, he's been spending time with something called Media Locator, a different app, and seen some great value there. iTech, terrific example of a family business, over 100 years old, outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. Some very innovative people there, and they've been using PrintBeat for quite a while, but also now they're using something called Resource Manager. That's another app in PrintOS of the 10 apps. And the idea with Resource Manager is backing up their DFEs automatically every night, actually it's basically in real time. All the ticket templates, all the profiles, fonts, users, RIP settings, etc., backed up automatically and then actually shared between multiple DFEs that they have. So it's reducing the amount of time that they need and attention they need internally to actually keep everything in sync. Okay? And we have our friend here, Toby, that is from Superior Bindery, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Superior Bindery for sure. When we think about going into business to consumer work, we think about high volume, even high volume B2B work, like Mike is doing, 3,000 orders a day. Okay, how do we manage that? What do we do? And what happens if we're wildly successful to the point where you're at the breaking point? What do you do if you have the systems inside, or if you have the team inside, and how do you manage it? Okay? Now, I'm going to focus on what I'm thinking of as business to business and business to consumer.